Welcome to Beware of Spoilers, episode number 47. I am Adam. Sorry about not doing Bedtime DL Royale earlier in the week. I came down with something, lost my voice. When you record a podcast, your voice is reasonably important. Therefore, here we are now, Friday, with no episodes between then and now. But I'm back now. My voice is back. So what have we got? We've got, I think the movie's called The Old Man and with the Gun. Let me verify that, because there are a lot of pronouns being thrown around in this movie title, and I'm not 100% certain what, The Old Man and the Gun. Okay, that's the name of the movie, The Old Man and the Gun. I'm going to say The Man with the Gun, The Old Man with the Gun. Any permutation that you have of how you can say this title incorrectly, I will probably be doing it at some point over the course of this episode, because there's a lot of weird pronouns going on, which, for marketability's sake, probably not the best idea. Hold on one second. Okay, we're back. So, The Old Man with the Gun. I think I got it right that time. The movie is a Robert Redford movie, which is why when I went into the theater, I brought the average age in the theater down to about 95. A lot of old people there. Very crowded movie, too. I would say, in a per capita sense, the theater was more densely filled than when I saw Venom or when I saw, definitely All About Nina. I was the only one there. But A Star Is Born, very densely populated theater, because this movie has very good word of mouth for it so far. Now, I have, as you know, with me, I tend to criticize movies, even if they're well received. I'm not someone who believes that a movie is perfect. There's no such thing as perfection, I don't think, and everything has its gripes. So if you want to see something good about this movie, you can go to the 90% Rotten Tomatoes rating, you can go to the Metacritic rating, which is probably also stellar, and you can get the information there. My problem with the movie, which is probably, if you're listening to this podcast, probably why you're listening in the first place, is to hear what my problem with a otherwise good movie is. And the problem here was that the movie's too short for the character development that we have to understand for the ending of the movie, the emotional climax of the movie, to hit its finality. And the very end of the movie did remind me a lot of The Hurt Locker, where Jeremy Renner goes back after serving his tour, and then he realizes he misses being at war, so he goes back to Iraq. It's very similar, where it's like he gets out of prison, he goes back with the woman, Jewel, who he met earlier in the movie, and they're having a little bit of a life together, and then he leaves, and he goes back and robs another bank. It's very similar in that respect, and then he ends up going to jail again. But the emotional climax of the movie should be, number one, Casey Affleck, when he has the realization that he didn't need to be the one to catch him. That should have been the emotional climax. And it should have also been the emotional climax of him, him going to, him at the end when he realizes that even with all the happiness he can have with Jewel, it's not enough for him, so he's got to go back to his old ways. The moment with him with Jewel is very well earned, where it's like you see him kind of soften up when he's dealing with her, and it's like he doesn't steal stuff when he's with her. He goes to a bank and he doesn't rob it, but he does try and buy out her mortgage. And there's a whole bunch of things like that kind of illustrate why, what he feels about, toward her. And then the movie does illustrate that he is at his happiest when he's robbing banks and doing all that. but it doesn't exactly, what's it called, showcase Casey Affleck's character arc from the beginning, where he is a detective who's hell-bent on catching him and his, on Forrest and his characters, and, what am I saying? And his cohorts, and then they show that, but then the FBI comes in, and the FBI takes over. Then the FBI takes over, and he continues his investigation anyway, even though it's now a federal case, and he continues it. And then they catch him. The movie, up until that point, implies that it is Casey Affleck's character who makes it seem like that's the reason why he got caught, was because of there's a conversation that he has with Casey Affleck in the in the bathroom of the diner that he always goes to. It seems like because of that he gets caught, but that's not the case apparently, because then Casey Affleck goes, "Oh, they caught him, and he wasn't involved." So a lot of the investigative, and I think an extra 20 minutes to the plot, an extra 20 minutes on the on Casey Affleck's character's aspect of it would have developed that a little bit better. So when we get to that point, it doesn't feel quite as rushed. What else have we got? I think that's my biggest problem with the movie, is that by the time we get to his release, that he's not going to do it anymore, it doesn't feel like he's really, it doesn't feel earned, the resolution of that plot line. It's not an earned aspect of it, and that's an important thing for them to, to really work on. Other than that, the movie's very good. Everyone acts very well. The soundtrack's very good, and they use, very similar to Dunkirk, the ticking clock. It does work its way into the soundtrack of the movie, and I did really like that. I don't really know what else to say. It's not like there's anything that really stands out about it being very good. It's just all around very good to begin with. It's just minus that one thing. Where I wish they spent more time on that, but whatever. I mean, it's still serviceable. It's one of the few movies I've ever seen that had, based on a article from the New Yorker, in the credits. And I wish that they had spent more time talking about Forrest's past. They don't really cover that too much. There's like a montage of him escaping from places. And they don't really touch on how he, like anything else about his past, what he was doing to get him into those situations. They briefly touch on when Casey Affleck's talking to his former lawyer. They talk about it a little bit, but they don't really. There's a lot that's not covered. That the movie's only an hour and a half long. That even if you ran it for 2 hours, it would have felt more like there's more story to tell. And the only reason I don't know why they didn't tell more of it, because it's not like they were at 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and you're like, alright, just fucking ended already. You got plenty of time to work with at 1.5 hours, and there's plenty of extra stuff you can add in to this movie, and they just don't for whatever reason. So we'll wrap it up there for today. Definitely see this movie if you get the chance. It's probably not going to break any box office records this weekend, considering it's opening against Halloween, which apparently is very good. So definitely go see The Old Man with the Gun, if that's what it's called. Let me just double check that one more time. The Old Man and the Gun. The Old Man and the Gun, that's the name of the movie. Which I think the title should have been different, because there's too many ways you can fuck up saying the title and fuck up Googling the title, and they definitely should have marketed it better, I think. And then I will do a 30-minute review at some point in the next few days, just because I have a mild complaint about Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald and the new marketing materials that's coming out, as well as what was the other one? Elseworlds. And all the stuff coming off the set of Elseworlds from the CW. And we'll cover both of those in a 30-minute review this week. In the future, what I'm going to do to try and bump the schedule a little bit is if I can't make it to the movie 3 times in 1 week, one of the Beware of Spoilers, I'll do a TV show episode. So with Daredevil coming out, The Flash is back. There's a lot of things I can, add in for another episode, and we'll be doing that. So with that, we will sign off for today. If you have not seen The Old Man and the Gun, definitely go see that movie. So have a good day.